I know a lot of women have been watching programmes recently, such as the Davina programme around menopause and HRT, and sometimes it almost would look like we should all be taking hormone replacement therapy. That is not the guidance yet that has been given to health care professionals. So really, we are still advocating the use of hormone replacement therapy only in those women that have very detrimental symptoms that are interfering with their quality of life. So I want to just take a little step back and look at two trials that were carried out in the early 2000s. There was the WHI trial, the Women's Health Institute trial, and the Million Women study. Both of these were questionnaires that were sent out to women over the age of 60 asking about their experience with hormone replacement therapy, menopause, and risks of breast cancer and how many people experience breast cancer and cardiovascular disease. Now, these trials were generally not representative of the cohort of women that take HRT. For example, most women taking HRT will do so between the ages of 50 and 60. We do expect women over the age of 60 to be at a higher risk of breast cancer and cardiovascular disease. So the cohort of women that were represented by this trial was not representative of the population of women taking HRT. So the findings of this study were really, really interesting. So they then discovered that if you look at women who are over the age of 50, between 50 and 60, and not taking HRT, some of them will go on to develop breast cancer anyway. So around 26 in 10,000 women will develop breast cancer every year who haven't touched HRT. They looked at the women who were taking HRT, and an extra 9 women developed breast cancer in the group that were taking HRT. That represented an extra 9 women in 10,000, which is literally 1 in 1,000. So taking HRT meant that 1 more woman in 1,000 would develop breast cancer. There was also some other very important things that came out of that study. First off, women were more likely, that extra 1 in 1,000 women that would get breast cancer from taking HRT, it was more likely to happen in women who were taking estrogen and progesterone, and less likely to happen in those women that were taking just estrogen only. So when we get to the point where I'm talking about the different types of HRT, there are 2 types, and women who have no womb generally take estrogen only, and women that have a womb take estrogen and progesterone. Also, so there was a slightly higher risk for people that were taking the progesterone proportion, but it depended on the type of progesterone. So some of the newer progesterones that are now on the market had a very, very low risk again of developing breast cancer. So the trial established that only 1 more woman in 1,000 was likely to develop breast cancer while being on HRT, and the risk was lower if they were on an estrogen only HRT, and if they were on a combined estrogen and progesterone, it depended on the type of progesterone. Another thing the trial showed was you were more likely to get breast cancer while on HRT if you were obese. So there was certain lifestyle factors women could do as well to lower the risk. There was no increase in breast cancer risk if you only took HRT for 1 year, and there was low risk of breast cancer if you took it for 5 years. So it's kind of like a get out of jail free card. A woman can try HRT and know that their risk in the first year is very, very low. We also know in this study they looked at cardiovascular disease, and in fact taking HRT protected women from cardiovascular disease, and for a few years after stopping HRT. So I think this worry about women going to develop breast cancer and cardiovascular disease should really be dispelled. Most women, when you talk to them about having to take hormone replacement therapy, will probably say they're willing to take that small risk because their life is so intolerable currently with their menopausal symptoms.